What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another one. If you are new to the channel, I'm Gold Pony. I do new car, truck, SUV reviews on YouTube, and today we are in the new 2022 Kia K5 courtesy of Scott at Fred Beans Kia in Mechanicsburg, PA. For more information on their inventory, please feel free to check out the link in the description box below. And yes, I specifically mentioned Scott because this is actually his vehicle. So if you're going to go to Fred Beans and buy your Kia, make sure you buy it from Scott. But anyways, I'm in this one today because there are actually several changes for the 2022 K5, including, of course, that new badge or logo you guys could see on the vehicle. Also, all-wheel drive is available for the K5, which is quite a brilliant thing and not always the case in all sedans out there. You do also get America's Best warranty, being 5 years, 60,000 mile bumper to bumper, 10 years, 100,000 miles then on the powertrain. And so in this video, I will of course be testing out and going over everything about the K5, from acceleration to braking, steering for ride quality, sound system, exhaust clip, all of that fun stuff. So having said all of that, what do you guys say? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, let's start with pricing. So when it comes to the pricing, there are a ton of different trim levels available for the K5. First one being the LX, starting at $23,690. LXS front-wheel drive for $24,690. LXS all-wheel drive for $26,490. GT line front-wheel drive for $26,090. GT line all-wheel drive for $27,690. EX for $28,590, and then the GT for $31,090. That is quite a bit of different trim levels that are available. But so then, as you can imagine, with all of those different trim levels that you have there are a couple different power plants available for the K5. First one being a 1.6 liter turbocharged inline 4-cylinder, coming standard with all trim levels but the GT trim. That is going to be the different setup. But for this 1.6 liter, you get 180 horsepower at 5,500 RPM, 195 pound-feet of torque, coming in at 1,500 RPM. Power sent to the front wheels or all wheels through an 8-speed automatic. 0 to 60 time coming in at approximately 7 seconds flat, with MPG numbers coming in at 27 in the city, 37 on the highway for the front wheel drive, 25 city, 33 then on the highway for the all-wheel drive, taking regular unleaded fuel. But then there is that GT trim level. That one's going to be powered by a 2.5 liter turbocharged inline 4-cylinder. This one cranks out 290 horsepower at 5,800 RPM, 311 pound-feet of torque, coming in at around 1,600 RPM. Power sent to the front wheels through an 8-speed wet dual clutch with paddle shifters. That's pretty darn cool. 0 to 60 time coming in at 5.2 seconds, with MPG numbers coming in at 24 in the city, 32 then on the highway. But before we do any kind of fun acceleration tests here in our K5, I did want to first mention to you guys the drive modes. And so there is actually a circular button located just behind the shifter that will give you Eco, Sport, Comfort, Smart, and Custom, and then Sport Plus is available as well. But the snow mode, by the way, is available for the all-wheel drive configurations of the K5 only, like we have today. We actually do have that. We have the all-wheel drive K5, which is wonderful. It's definitely a car I always wanted to try out. But anyways, these drive modes adjust things like the shift points, the throttle response, the steering sensitivity, and with that snow mode, all-wheel drive system engagement as well. But so then, having got all of that out of the way, before we actually do our acceleration test, I did want to take a quick minute here to thank our sponsor for today's video, being the Ridge Wallet. So they actually sent me 2 of them. These are pretty cool, but you guys got to see all the different colors that they have available. But their slogan is carry less, live more. So essentially what they're saying is, if you're tired of big bulky wallets in your pocket, go with this because it is a fraction of the size and it's pretty heavy duty as well. Actually holds up to 12 cards in this wallet. I don't think anyone has more than 12 cards these days anyways. There's over 30 different colors and styles available, including carbon fiber and burnt titanium. This is actually the burnt titanium I have here, you guys, and I also got a navy blue aluminum one as well. But there's tons of different designs out there, and of course, since they are built so durable, the Ridge actually warranties them with a lifetime warranty. So for whatever reason they break, you simply just send it back and they'll send you out a new one. But the Ridge team is actually so confident that you will like it, they'll actually let you test drive it for 45 days, and then you can send it back for a full refund if you don't love it. And it's also made with RFID blocking technology, which protects you from digital pickpocketers as well, which is pretty nice. So definitely feel free to check them out. I'll pin a comment in the comment section below this video, as well as in the description box. And of course, feel free to use my referral code, being Gold Pony, for an additional 10% off when you actually go to purchase your Ridge wallet. And lastly, I did want to also mention they do have other products available, like this waterproof backpack that I'm going to be using from now on for my camera gear, so I don't get anything wet. And also, this thing charges up my camera batteries as well, or your laptop if you wanted to use it for school possibly. But this thing's definitely very heavy duty and I'm a big fan. But But now, let's go ahead and get back to that acceleration test. All right, you guys, we are back. I'm definitely a fan of my burnt titanium ridge wallet for sure. But now, let's go ahead and find that straightaway. Here it is. And let's do this acceleration test here. Have a go. This is the 1.6 liter. 0 to 60 in 7 seconds flat. That is plenty of power without a doubt. I mean, obviously the GT is gonna rocket you to 60, but dang, 7 seconds flat is definitely not gonna give you any issues in merging onto the highway without a doubt. But anyways, to go along with that acceleration, as always, braking is equally important. And so up front, you will find 12-inch ventilated front discs for the non-GT trim levels, and then 13.6-inch ventilated front discs for the GT trim level, so substantially larger, being, of course, that you have a bigger engine, so I guess that makes sense. In the back, 11.2-inch solid rear disc for the non-GT, 12.8-inch solid rear disc for the GT trim level. But even with that non-GT trim level, as far as the 60-0 stopping distance goes, it comes in at an insanely impressive 116 feet, which is quite freaking brilliant, if I do say. That's sports sedan good, you guys. Usually sedans come in the 120s, SUVs typically come in the 130s, so 116 feet is plenty respectable without a doubt. As far as the braking feel goes, you can really tell that number is true because it instantly brings you to a stop. Is definitely, without a doubt, on the firmer side of the braking situation here. Not a soft braking feel whatsoever, which is a brilliant thing if you want to come to a quick stop on the highway perhaps. So wonderful, wonderful braking on the K5, at least in this vehicle here that we have today. It really is quite good. I'm not just saying that, it's wonderful. But anyways, touching on suspension and handling, up front you're going to get a McPherson strut front suspension. In the back, independent multi-link rear suspension, front and rear stabilizer bars. As far as ride quality goes, it's perfectly fine. I have had no issues whatsoever in my short test drive here today. I'm on some pretty smooth roads here in Mechanicsburg though, but still no issues whatsoever. As far as steering feel goes, it is noticeably different depending upon which drive mode that you put it in. So I do have it in that sport driving mode right now still, and it is a heavier feel to it. Wouldn't mind it a bit heavier of a feel to the steering in the sport driving mode, kind of like maybe the Lexus IS 350. I don't know. I always refer to that steering feel because that is the best, but still, it's plenty fine. The comfort driving mode definitely makes it a little more loosey-goosey, but the cool thing is that custom driving mode, you can actually make the steering feel heavier, but not that instant acceleration that you wanted to get all the time in the sport mode if you wanted to do that. That's what I personally do in my own vehicle. But as far as cabin noise goes, it's perfectly fine. I am driving right now, as you guys can see. I'm going around 30 miles per hour, but there isn't a whole lot of exterior wind noise coming into the cabin, at least right now, so I've had no issues there. And maybe that's due in part because there is an acoustic laminated front windshield that comes standard on the K5, so it is going to absorb a lot of that exterior noise, so that's definitely a good thing. And touching on visibility, I can see perfectly fine out the back, and typically with sedans you are not going to have any issues with visibility anyways. But that about rounds out the performance segment of this review, you guys. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the exterior of our brand new 2022 Kia K5. All right, so here she is, you guys, the new 2022 Kia K5. And before we start this one, I did want to give a quick disclaimer. There are a couple slight modifications on this one by the salesperson. So there are some blacked out window surrounds as opposed to the chrome window surrounds that typically come standard. And there is some tinted windows, of course, as you guys could probably tell, and some tinted front lighting as well. You guys can see this little amber turd signals. Typically they're that color, but it is slightly tinted. So did want to cover that real quick. But anyways, let's go ahead and start up front on this K5 here. You do have that new Kia logo that I personally love. I think it's a million times better than the previous Kia logo. Gives it a much more sporty appearance. Just the logo alone, in my personal opinion. Up front, you will find a GT specific front grille for the GT trim level, obviously, and the GT line as well. We do have the GT line, by the way, in case anybody was curious. Multi-reflector LED headlights coming standard for all trim levels. They do come, of course, with the automatic feature, meaning when it starts to get dark out at night, those headlights will turn on automatically for you there. Amber colored LED daytime running lights. I absolutely love that for all trim levels across the board. And just below, LED fog lights coming standard for the GT and GT line trim levels. But I will say, overall, with the leaves falling majestically in the background, definitely a very good looking front end to the K5. without a doubt. Wonderful looking car here. But anyways, let's now go ahead and make our way to the side of the K5. All right, so now since we are around to the side, like I just mentioned to you guys, there are some silver accenting on the upper portion of the windows that kind of ties into the trunk. Let me just show you close up real quick. So upper portion of the windows, typically it'll be silver, and then it kind of goes down and it goes around the trunk here at the bottom as well to the other side. But in this case, that was tinted or blacked out, however you want to put it. So that is what you guys are currently looking at, and I personally love it. I think this is something Kia should offer as a factory option in the future. This blacked out look, maybe a black line kind of trim level perhaps, but definitely a very nice look to the K5 without a doubt. But illuminated door handles, I love that, coming standard on all trim levels but the LX. Body colored power adjustable side mirrors come with all trim levels without the GT in its name, I'll put it that way. You will get gloss black side mirrors with the GT and GT line, that's why I mentioned that. Heated side mirrors for all trim levels across the board with LED integrated turn signals then, only if you go with the GT or the GT line. So again, that's why we have them today. But anyways, then take a look at the wheel configuration. 16-inch alloys coming with the LX and LXS front wheel drive. 18-inch gray machine finished alloys for the LXS all-wheel drive and EX, 18-inch gloss black machine finished alloys for the GT line, and 19-inch alloys then for the GT. But certainly a very nice looking side profile, especially with the tinted windows and the blacked out silver accents. But anyways, let's now go ahead and make our way to the back of the K5. All right, so now since we are around to the back, gloss black rear spoiler coming with the GT and the GT line trims. You guys can see that on the back there. New Kia logo, as with all 2022 Kias, of course. LED taillights coming with the GT and GT line. And of course, you have a very nice rear diffuser in the center of it all down there. That is actually going to come with the GT and GT line trim levels once again. And then to the sides, this is something that bothers me slightly. You would think there were dual exhaust outlets because of the silver accenting around where you would think the dual exhaust outlets would be, but there is not. That's fake, just like Audi and Volkswagen does. But anyways, there is a single exhaust outlet all the way down below. But I will say those fake exhaust outlets do actually become real with quad tips if you were to go with the GT trim, but that is the only trim that's going to give you that. Otherwise, you have the single exhaust outlet. So as always, I do believe you guys know what we have to do next. Here is that exhaust clip. So now since we are around back here of the K5, when it comes to opening that rear trunk, it is a hands-free smart trunk for all trim levels actually, but the LX, and I love that feature. So when I have all my camera gear and my stuff in my hands, I just simply walk up to it when it's locked and it's gonna automatically open up for me. So I love that. There is a button on the key fob though, it's another way, and there is a button kind of integrated into the back there on the trunk itself. It's kind of hidden, but that is yet another way you can go about opening that rear trunk. But what's opened up, cargo capacity comes in at an even 16 cubic feet. If that was not enough space, there is a 60-40 split for all trim levels but the LX. So I want to specify that, meaning the rear seats do fold down, giving you a good bit of extra space then if you needed it. There is some cargo lighting back there as well. And if you were to lift up underneath of that cargo floor, you will find a spare tire back there as opposed to the fix-a-flat, in case anybody was curious about that question. But then making our way up to the rear legroom, that is going to come in at 35.2 inches. So for reference, I'm an even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I had in the rear seat. So I was able to fit plenty fine. This is me sitting behind my own driving position, of course. Rear ventilation does come standard on the EX and the GT. That's quite interesting. So our GT line is not going to give us rear ventilation, interestingly enough. Rear center armrest with cup holders does come on all trim levels but the LX, and then dual rear USB charging ports coming for all trim levels but the LX as well, which is interesting because my Sonata only gives you one charging port, but the K5 gives you two. So if you got two kids like I do, they're not fighting over any charging ports. So that was kind of interesting to see that too. But overall, rear seats were plenty fine. There was LED interior lighting, even for those second row seats as well, which I thought was pretty cool. Then make our way up to the front seats. Manually adjustable cloth seating coming with the LX trim levels. 10-way power driver seat with 2-way power lumbar coming with the GT line trim level and up. Syntex seating coming with the GT line trim level and up. You do get enhanced bolstering, of course, if you were to go with the GT trim level because of the extra power and better braking and all that fun stuff. Heated front seats coming with the GT line trim level and up. Ventilated front seats for the EX trim, but going to be optional then on the GT. Overall, as far as seat comfort goes, it is 100% plenty comfortable. I've had no issues whatsoever. Might even be more comfortable than my Sonata, to be quite honest. And I do like the GT line badging found in the upper portion of the seat that we have here because we have the GT line, so I think that's pretty cool. Then when it comes to the startup, let me start by showing you guys the key here. You do have the Kia logo on the one side along with the remote start. That's the hold circular button there. That's going to be a remote start. But all of your buttons essentially are located on the side of the key. You got lock, unlock, and that button to pop the rear trunk, but it is all keyless entry with a push button start if you go with any of the trim levels but the LX. Again, the LX trim level is not going to give you that, but all I'm going to do here then is simply put my foot on the brake and press that silver engine start button located just to the left of the front air vents there. And so once started up, tachometer is all the way to your left, speedometer is all the way to your right, and there is a digital speedometer that will be located front and center, giving you information like how many miles you have left until you hit empty, which it looks like is telling us 391 right now, which is pretty impressive for an all-wheel drive sedan. And that looks like we do have a full tank of gas. That's a decent amount of range there. Digital speedometer, of course, you could check out when you need your next oil change. Of course, there's trip A, trip B. There's a nice little compass up there, some safety information, tire pressure information, the list goes on. So pretty much everything you could possibly want on the digital portion of the gauges at least. But then, touching on overall interior quality, a panoramic sunroof is going to come on the EX, GT, optional then on the GT line. Apparently we have that option because it is going all the way to the back. Gotta love that. LED interior lighting coming with the EX and GT trim levels. I already mentioned that to you guys, but it is optional on the GT line, so we do have it here today. Dual zone climate control coming standard for all trim levels. Wireless phone charger coming with the GT line trim level and up. It's not actually located in front of the shifter. It's located behind the drive mode button. You simply just slide your phone right into this little slot. That's how that's going to work. So it's a little bit different than some other vehicles out there. So did want to mention that. But overall, interior quality is perfectly fine. I actually don't have any issues with that. I like the little accents below the air vents. They're kind of like ridges, so it gives a nice little texturized finish there. You do have digital displays for your climate control, which is pretty cool. In front of the shifter, you actually have a 12-volt power outlet, 2 USB charging ports, and some rubberized storage so things don't slide around. Behind that, you have dual cup holders. Behind that, you have your wireless phone charger, of course, and the heated seat buttons as well. I should mention that. And within the center armrest, there is a decent amount of storage as well. But again, overall interior quality is perfectly fine. It's nothing that's going to blow your mind, but it is perfectly fine. It gets the job done. But then making our way to the infotainment screen, because this is pretty good. 8-inch color touchscreen display coming with the LX and LXS. However, if you were to go with the GT line trim level and up, you're going to get a 10.25-inch color touchscreen display, and that gives you Bluetooth and audio streaming, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. Factory navigation system is going to come with the GT line trim level and up, so we do have that. And of course, you have my favorite, sounds of nature. And so what I was told by Scott, the salesperson there, was that a lot of parents will use the sounds of nature to put their kids to sleep in the back. I don't know why I never thought of that before, but a lot of people have asked me previously, what is that sounds of nature feature actually there for? Like, what do you use that for? You use it to put the kids to sleep. That's pretty darn cool. I never thought of that, but it's a good idea. Anyways, there's also a voice memo system up there. You can save your voice for a later date if you didn't want to forget something. There's your climate control information, of course, and also your radio information as well. And so when it comes to the sound systems here of the K5, you will get 6 speakers for all trim levels across the board. However, there is an optional 12-speaker Bose sound system that is going to be optional only for the EX and GT trim levels. So therefore, we do have that 6-speaker sound system with us here today. So what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and turn on the radio, see what we got playing today, and let's test out the clarity of this one. It's okay. It'll get the job done. I mean, it's 6 speakers. It's actually not bad for a 6-speaker sound system, but there's definitely better sound systems out there like the Bose sound system I was mentioning to you guys. But last thing I wanted to mention is when you do put the K5 in reverse, you will, of course, find a rear view camera, pretty darn high definition as well, letting you know who or what is behind you, which is always is going to lead us into safety. That's the first thing I want to mention when it comes to safety. The K5 is an IIHS top safety pick plus, which is the very highest designation given by IIHS, so that pretty much says it all right there. Front side curtain airbags do come standard. There is the driver's knee airbag up front as well. In the back, you're going to have latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children for the rear car seats, rear child door locks, tire pressure monitoring system, but also coming standard across the board will include a forward collision avoidance assist system, driver attention warning, lane keep assist, lane following assist, and rear occupant alert as well. Then if you were to go with the LXS trim level and up, you're also going to get safe exit assist and a blind spot monitoring system with rear cross traffic alert. That's a big one. Then if you were to go with the EX, that's going to add rear parking sensors. Then optional for the GT line trim level and up is going to be highway driving assist and adaptive cruise control then as well. And so overall, when it comes to my final thoughts here of the new K5, I do love the amber LED daytime running lights up front. That really is maybe the main identifying look for the K5 because not many other vehicles are putting those standard on all trim levels. That's pretty cool. 290 horsepower availability is great. All-wheel drive availability is great. Not all sedans will give you that, like my Sonata. It's wonderful, but it only comes in front-wheel drive. That is one thing I always critique that car with. I wish it came with all-wheel drive like the K5 that we have today because it snows here in Pennsylvania. Every now and then you need that. Also, great safety on this one. Top Safety Pick Plus is an amazing thing. You get a great warranty. You get America's best warranty, I'll put it that way. As far as room for improvement goes, one of the things is the shifter. I feel like the shifter could be switched up a little bit as far as the top part of the shifter. I like the shift boot. I don't know, it just feels a little bit cheapy, I guess. And also, digital gauges would be wonderful on the K5. You get them on the Sonata, but you don't get it on the K5. That's really my only two room for improvements. Other than that, this car is quite wonderful in my personal opinion. It's kind of my style. But anyways, let me know what you guys think of the K5 in the comments section below. That is about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to follow me on social media at the bottom of the screen if you want to see what's coming next on the channel before it actually gets to YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe and the bell notification button if you're into new car reviews. That is what we do here on this channel after all. Do appreciate you guys watching more than you know, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Stay gold.